You know why you came here. I know why you came here. Uh, because you I like to the title, man. That's why. Um, but honestly, this video is more of a discussion. If anything, I'm not saying that this is right or wrong. And disclaimer: I'm not even trying to defend Conor or anything like that. Some of the things he did that night was really questionable and was kind of like childish. Like the whole thing after the end where he was injured and on the floor and was making death threats to Dustin Poirier and his wife, saying that he'll kill him and all that stuff is very. There's no excuse for that. It's very. So it was just unnecessary and it was just pathetic for him to just even say that. But it was sad, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna lie. Like after watching the fight, after watching 264, for those who know what I'm talking about, after that fight was very short. To say there was no build up or anything. The fight just went the way it was. Man got injured. We already know, and I feel like a lot of people after that night just believed that this dude Connor is just done. Like you had your chance at redemption and you get injured and you get injured in a way where you actually break your leg. And if for those who keep up on MMA, a lot of fighters who break their legs never really come back the same. It's almost guaranteed that they all come back just like, I wouldn't say washed up, but more like a watered down version of themselves. And those two that I think in mind when I think of fighters who get their legs broken, or fighters who had their legs broke. Y'all know what I'm trying to say, man. I can't even talk today. But Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman, uh, and both of them are. I'm pretty sure they're both happy right now in their careers. Even though they're definitely not the same, but it definitely makes you question if Conor is going to fit that statistic of fighters that just never come back after they get hurt or just never can perform at their peak selves, or will he be an exception? And if we know anything about MMA, it's very, very, very unpredictable. Fighters can have runs that come out of nowhere. Um, Fighters can fight for a world title at like older ages. Like there's so much crazy, like there's so much things that don't make sense that can actually work in MMA, if that makes any sense at all. I know that it's kind of a double entendre thing, but yeah. So I just decided like there's probably three ways that Conor can actually save his career, because I'm pretty sure nobody thinks that he can save his career at this point, but I believe there's three ways. And the first way, and it's probably the way that most people agree, is to retire. Now I say this because if he retires now, he doesn't have to worry about any future losses. He doesn't have to worry about future injuries, and he gets to leave scot free. He gets to leave without any more, I guess, pain or something like that. I don't know, without any future damage. And if we know anything about Conor, the man has won in life. Period. Like there's not much that he has to fight for. You know what I mean? There's not much that he has to chase after because he's already did it. The man's a double champion. Has fought some of the most dangerous fighters. Like this man fought in defeat a prime undefeated Jose Aldo, and knocked him out in 13 seconds. And on top of that, defeated Eddie Alvarez when he was cold too. Eddie Alvarez is a good fighter, but he was cold at that time too, and became the double champ, man. Like 2-time champ, like first time ever. You know what I mean? Like nobody's ever done that before him, and you can't forget about his impact in the game. His impact, you can say, is the biggest ever. Like there's no fighter before him that has impacted the sport to where it is besides Conor. Like he's the most famous fighter, probably the most richest fighter, and like that's a feat in itself. That's something that he can always carry with him. So number one would be retired. Number two is to adopt a new role, and by adopt new role, Look at a fighter like Nate Diaz. Look at a fighter like Cowboy Cerrone. Do they Are they undefeated? Hell no. Uh, do they're the type of fighters that they fight, and whether they win, lose, or the shit is a draw, their stock always goes up, and people just love them. Nate Diaz especially because look at his last fight against dude, I forgot his name. He lost that fight clearly, but in the end, that last minute or so of the round, he actually had hopes in winning. But it was one of those fights where even though he lost, his stock went completely up, and people just loved Nate Diaz. They loved his character, what he represents, the fact that he's part of that like OG breed of like UFC fighters. Like he was part of the first season of Tough, believe it or not. And he's one of those fighters that like, no matter what he does, people are gonna watch him. He's gonna sell asses on seats. Like he's a main event draw. Even at this point of his career, like he could fight every 4 years, and I guarantee you, every fight that he shows up to, people are gonna watch it, and that's a good thing. Like to fight on your own terms and fight whoever you want to fight, and just fight for fighting, and people are still gonna watch you. Like that's still a good thing. And the thing is, if Conor was to fight somebody else or just kind of have that role and win fights, people love him so much that I wouldn't say that they would necessarily forget about his losses, but they won't care so much. I feel like they would still like him, and still like people would still call him the GOAT because they love him so much. It's just one of those things, and he can fight, and I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I think the second reason was kind of adopt a Nate Diaz kind of cowboy Cerrone type role where you're just a fighter's fighter, and people just love to see you fight and watch you compete no matter who it is. And whether you win or lose, like I think that's a kind of good way to go out too. You go out fighting, like shit. I don't know. That's the second one. And then the third way that Conor McGregor can save his career, could be he could honestly just retire and just take money fights. He can go the way Floyd is. I know it sounds crazy. But look at Floyd Mayweather. Look at what he's doing. I feel like for the last 10 years, Floyd Mayweather has just been having fun. He has just been having fun fighting whoever he's fighting. 10 years could be an exaggeration, but like Floyd is fighting to entertain. He's an entertainer now. He's not, the days of him competing at a high level or just him competing. It's over. He does not care about that. That has nothing to do with him anymore because he's already done that. Now he's just fighting for the spectacle of it. Damn, why can't I not say that word? He's fighting for the fight of it, fighting the spectacle. You know what I mean? He's fighting for that. And he's fighting these guys like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, these people that like people really care about and gravitate to, and he's making these fights, these big fights that people want to watch, regardless of whether it's stupid or not. People are gonna watch it, and Conor can go that same route, and he could fight any type of influencer, YouTuber, or he can have dream matchups, which I was also thinking about too. He could fight George St. Pierre. He can even go to boxing again and try to fight Canelo. He can have these type of dream matchups or spectacle fights. Let's just say spectacle fights for number 3. He can have these type of fights that people would love to see him fight in, and or fights that are gonna generate a lot of like views and value and money, because that's kind of just where this trend, like that's where this trend of just fighting is at now. It's just like everybody who's not a fighter, who just has clout, who has all this like fan base, wants to fight, and then people want to see them fight another person, and then that's kind of just where the game is at right now. And Conor could definitely fit into that puzzle. And I think if he can get a couple of those down and just win in spectacular fashion, that can kind of almost save his career in a point. It won't excuse those fights, but it will make him be able to like to one day quit fighting on his own terms, or at least It could be something that he could have on his highlights, I guess, or on his demo reel or whatever. Um, but yeah, I think those are my three ways. Let me know what you guys think. Y'all gonna have a completely different way, and that's fine. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not saying that this is how we should do it. I don't even know if he's gonna do any of the three ways I'm gonna do. If anything, Conor might just really go his own way and just try to like run it back with Dustin and try to go back to the title. I just don't know if he has another title run in him. I don't know if he's there anymore, man, because I think he's just, I don't know. I look at Conor, man, and I think of like as sad as it is, I kind of think of like Scarface, like Tony Montana, like how he came up into the game. And I know it's funny at him comparing him to Scarface, all that, but in terms of like the rise and fall of a character, of a guy, of like somebody who really went for it all and got it all. Like he got everything and then some. And then you just see the spiral, you see the downwards, you see the cracks and everything, and you just wonder like you just don't think that fighter can really have a chance, and you want to, because like it wasn't that long ago that he was doing all this shit. But I mean, it's just the way the game is. Like everybody has their time, you know what I mean? Everybody has a window where they can dominate and have all these streaks and accomplishments. But man, once that time is up, that time is up, and you kind of just have to know that. And I wonder if he knows that, or does he really believe that he has another run? I don't know. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about that, or just anything. Like, I really want to know y'all opinion about this, because I feel like everybody is just downing him, or just like assuming that he's done, he's washed. And I get it. Like, I really do get it. But I feel like, oh, he's mad young too, bro. He's like 31, 32. Like, is it really, really, truly like over for him? Or could he just approach it in a different way? I guess I'm just trying to approach this or see this in a different way. But I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just trying to keep it real. You know what I mean? Like, if it is over, then hell, it was a good ass fucking run, and he did carry that bitch. He took whatever successes that he took the ball and he ran with that shit. Is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, man. Let me know what y'all think. I'll see y'all soon. Stay great.